back with the first episode of the year. Today we have got a special guest. Got a guy from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe hip hop rapper, award-winning, recently signed Def Jam, Asaph.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How
Easy
are you
vibes.
doing?
I'm very well, brother. Very well.
Asaph, let's get the small questions out of the equation.
Yeah.
Who's Asaph?
Basically, Asaph is a guy from Bulawayo, City of Kings. Loves hip hop. Loves young people. Loves to leave a positive impact in people's lives. You know what I mean? Any opportunity I can get to add value to where I'm coming from, that's what I'm about. So whether it's with music or the time I was on radio or whatever opportunity I can get, I'm just making sure that I'm raising the flag high for Bulawayo, because I feel like you're always a representative of where you're from. So if I can shine a light, because sometimes being from Zimbabwe, being from Bulawayo, we feel like we don't have enough positive representations of what it is to be a Zimbabwean, what it is to be someone from Bulawayo. So if I can be that, then I'll gladly take that role. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a couple of neighborhoods. Started off in Southern Park when I was born. And then my dad was in the army, so we're in Llewellyn, Brady Barracks, right?
Yeah.
We're out there for a couple of years. From there, we moved to Padonest. Welby Road. Welby Road.
Nice.
From Padonest, we moved to Malindela. From Malindela, we moved to Hillside. From Hillside, we moved to Machamhlope. Machamhlope, we moved to North End. Now I'm staying in town. So that's basically like the different areas that I've been, the different areas that kind of influenced me. Obviously, I had friends from different neighborhoods from around, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't spend more than a week anywhere else, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So you were growing up in all these places. Where did you learn?
I did my primary school at SOS. From SOS, I just did one term at Baines. You know what I mean? From Baines, went back to SOS, finished my primary school, and then went to Petra High, Form 1 until Upper 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was your experience at Petra High?
My experience at Petra High was pretty cool. I mean, that was when I was, becoming a teenager, becoming who you are wanting to be for the rest of your life, you know what I mean? That was actually when I started really falling in love with hip-hop music. So when I went there, I was just trying to make friends. Funny enough, my first friends were girls, because I couldn't play soccer, you know what I mean? Because at break time, all the 4-month boys would meet up and play soccer or whatever. I would just sit at the bags. So when the girls pass by and they want to see the guys or whatever, they would see me sitting there and say, "How come you're not playing soccer?" I'm like, I don't play soccer. They're like, "Well, come chill with us," you know what I mean? So hang out with them there. I had a friend, he was actually a stream below me. His name was Blair Masego, Blazy Boy. Right now he's in South Africa, yeah. So we would do like rap battles at break time, or when it's like family fun days, sports days. So like have the whole school like around us, and we're in the same crew, but we're just going back and forth, freestyling, battling, whatever. And then we decided to form a rap group, you know what I mean? Like Rap Smith Poets. Okay. Yeah. So it's funny, like my high school years was more of me becoming a hip hop artist than me becoming like a scholar or whatever. You know what I mean? That's where I was really getting into it, seeing that people are reacting to my music or me rapping. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a pretty nice experience, because the market was right there. My friends, my peers. So yeah, it was pretty exciting.
What were your influences at that time?
At that time, man, everyone from 50 Cent, Ludacris, Nas, Jay-Z, Kanye West. Kanye West was a real strong influence. I would even have those two little cuts in the hair, you know what I mean? Get a young fake Jesus piece from Kotama, these fake Air Force Ones, and be like, yeah, I'm Kanye, you know what I mean? Yeah. So Kanye was someone who really like influenced me, because I come from a Christian home as well. So I remember that album of his, College Dropout, had this song called Jesus Walks. So I remember even playing it for my dad, saying, "Listen, this is hip hop, but it's talking about Jesus." Like, you know what I mean? So those were my serious influences when
Did he understand?
Yeah, he did, especially that song. He was hearing the message and where it was coming from. He also knew a couple of gospel hip hop acts, you know what I mean? So yeah, he was pretty open-minded to the idea.
Locally?
Locally, that was your 10 Diamonds, your Poise, basically, yeah, those were the two that I really knew were doing this music thing. There was another gospel rapper. His name was Ilse at the time. Now his name is, he's using his real name, Courtney Antipas. He's based in Harare. So he was doing gospel at that time. So those three were the ones, or they were the examples of hip hop music being done in Zimbabwe. And of course, the urban music, urban grooves wave and everything, because sometimes I was standing there would do like they're rapping, but it wasn't like that international level that Poi and 10 Diamond and Ilse were doing, yeah.
Okay, and then when we were talking about your hip hop influences and your hip hop music, when was the first time you recorded something in studio?
Yo, the first time I recorded was 2007. I went to Harare. I was visiting my cousin's sister because she was staying out there in Harare. She was dating this guy called Blessed. So he used to do Teen Scene at the time, a lot of productions on ZBC.
Oh, and
so
Teen Scene.
yeah.
That was the guy.
Yeah. So then, cool. She tells him, no, you know, my little brother likes to rap as well. He's like, for real, because down the road there's a studio where there's Rocky's there, Pauline is there, Discord is there. Let's visit and see what's up. So I'm spending time in the studio. I had this beat that I just had on the MP3 player, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let's hear. Plugged it in, I recorded my first song, 3 verses, no chorus, nothing. So when I would listen to that song, I listened to that song for a whole year. You know what I mean? Just giving my friends to listen at school when I came back. At that time there was no releasing. You know, at that time there was what was infrared, where you put the phones together and share it. You know what I mean? There was no internet, there was nothing, no Facebook, no nothing for me to say I'm gonna put it on a page where people can come. There was not even a radio station in Bulawayo, so there was nothing I could do but just play for my friends, basically.
So from there, take us through your journey to maybe recording your first album.
Yeah, because from there, like, there were these little movements. There was the flow sessions that used to happen in Cape to Cairo with Naboth Rizla. He was the one who was now introducing us to like the world of hip hop, because he had a website. He was writing for Hype magazine in South Africa. So he would invite us. We would do like freestyles. He would film us whenever there's these flow sessions, whatever. We go there, we freestyle, we perform little songs that we had. Then I think I got up to like lower 6. Then there was this studio in town where I wasn't yet with Crew. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it's still very active in the Bulawayo music scene. I'm not sure. I'm not sure now where he's at. So we record some songs with Blair, perform at high school. You know what I mean? There was a song we did for our school called Petra Boys, where even the headmaster himself, it was his assembly where he's like, yo, you guys are doing good. You guys are rapping about us. You know, he played it for the school at assembly. You know what I mean? So it was just moving step by step, stage by stage, elevating until I think I had to go to Swaziland. So I went to Swaziland to Eswatini, we call it Eswatini. Went there for Bible school. So when I was there now, I was now into like gospel rap, preaching. That's the type of music I was doing. So my first 2 projects, the first one was called the New Life EP. It had like 5 songs. I recorded it with this guy called Crude. Crude, we used to work with Orthodox and then Micah Blaze, that whole stable. So I recorded my first EP, would perform Word of Life, perform at different churches, Victory Fellowship. People would love it, you know what I mean? Even in Swaziland, there were some concerts there, performed there, these gospel concerts. People would really love it. Once that period of my life was done, I realized that I didn't want to be like in a box, you know what I mean? Because I felt like if people know that you're doing gospel, they already feel like they know what you're going to talk about. And then they can write you off, even though there might be a message that is beneficial for them. So and even when it came to awards, there was a gospel category, right? But then like a rapper would win for best video, best song or whatever. But if you're a gospel, even if you're the best video, they'll just give you best gospel. You won't be nominated in any other category except for best. You see what I'm saying? So I really wanted to branch out. I really wanted to grow beyond that ceiling that I felt the tag gospel rap was keeping me at. It's not like I would change and now I'm making violent music or explicitly sexual music, because I hardly even swear in my music. But I just wanted to make sure everyone has a fair chance to give my music a fair chance. Listen to it. It might impact you in a way you never know. I have a close friend of mine who actually gave his life to God after listening to Kendrick's album, Good Kid, Mad City. because there's even a part in that album where there's like a sinner's prayer and stuff like that, and it really hits him in a way. I'm sure when he started listening to it, he didn't expect to go that route, you know what I mean? Look at DMX's album. The last song of all his albums is a prayer, you know what I mean? And when you get to that, you're already on another level, because you didn't expect it, and it's able to hit you right at your heart. So that's basically how it was. After that, that's when I started working on this album called King's Villa 1, because I wanted it to be like the stories of Bulawayo, the stories of the streets, what's going on amongst my peers in the high schools, the clubs, whatever. At that time, that's when I met Calvin. So I recorded that first album with him. The full album had a couple of features with him, King's Villa 1. I formed a group called Berg, and we got nominated for Best Album, but we didn't win. I formed a group called Berg Boys. It was also nominated for Best Group the very next year. And I released King's Villa 2. That one was nominated, didn't win. So you know what I mean? So I was feeling like I just had to keep on proving myself. And I knew the talent I had. So at that time, I used to call myself Zim Hip Hop Savior. You know what I mean? And because I felt like I had something that no one else was bringing to the table. I felt like I was the one to really take it where Zim Hip Hop needs to go. Where we can even remove the tag of calling it Zim Hip Hop. And it's now just hip hop. You know what I mean? So, and then just kept on doing that. The year after that, met up with Represent Beats. And I did my album called 25. I didn't submit that one for awards because I was like, these guys, clearly they're on their own mission, you know what I mean? But the people are loving my music. People are telling me that you're onto something, you know what I mean? So then came 25, that was now like 2017. And then 2018, that's when I released this track called Mambo. That one really just took off, blew up, and that was the first time now I'm really winning awards, you know what I mean? Scooped 3 awards that year, the Zim Hip Hop Awards. I scooped 1 2018. Then 2019, that's when I did the People's Rapper. And then in 2020, what happened in 2020? 2020, yes, keep on pushing. Yeah, COVID happened. But what you guys didn't know, 2019, that's when I was first approached by Universal and Def Jam. So that was after the Bulawayo shutdown concert where there was Nasty C, Nadia Nakai, Mafiki Zolo. After that year, after the show, they're like, yo, we're really interested in you. Let's see how this discussion is going. Then COVID hit, which slowed down a lot of processes, you know what I mean? But I kept on just pushing. So 2020, I released Like So, which was another big song. Zol even used it for a campaign, you know what I mean? So I saw that now, label or not, I can still really keep it pushing and make this thing happen. Then 2021, things were becoming calmer. I finally got the call to say, yo, you have to come out to Johannesburg, to the studios. Went out there, we did the signing, took the pictures, had the parties, you know what I mean? Came back, and now 2022, we're seeing how we're going, About to release my first single under the label, Tebelele with Low Key, who's based in South Africa. So I'm pretty excited.
So going back to your rap battles with Blaze,
Yeah.
And with Nabo, what was it called?
The flow sessions, bigger than hip hop,
Hip hop and all that. Quantified.
Yeah.
I think I started knowing about you when you were quantified.
Yeah.
And you were murdering.
Yeah.
It's not killing.
Yeah.
Just having those people, having other rappers, not knowing what to do with you in front of you.
Yeah.
How did it shape you or harden you? Those bets. How did they do that for you?
I think first of all, I think the first thing it did was teach me the difference between the rap game, the industry, and real life. Because in a rap battle, like what you say, we're murdering, but we're not killing each other. Afterwards, we'll probably be friends and just be calm about it at the end of the day. But when it comes to the mic, I know my mission. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I can now separate it and say, I'm going to go home and it's calm. And I think that's important even up to today, to not to get caught up in the whole hype of the industry or hype of the label, whatever. And that could possibly take me down a path that I don't intend. Then I get sucked into depression or stuff because the real life and what people expect or the hype is not matching up, you know what I mean? So I think that's what really helped me. Also just that hunger to keep proving yourself, that hunger to say no matter what opponent is placed in front of you, whether if it's a rapper, whether if it's just any hurdles that can come in the industry, you have to punch through it. You know what I mean? You have to punch through it and take it down. Because I believe, because I'm a Christian, so I believe what's in me, the gift that's in me, is greater than any opposition that I can find. Yeah.
So talking about that, I realized when I listened to your album 25, that it was the most emotional album. I think you're hitting towards, not to the people, but yourself.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind 25?
Well, 25, the whole inspiration behind that was I literally was turning 25. You know what I mean? I turned 25, I woke up that morning, I cried like a baby. You know, because in my mind, I'm like, my life is not where I want it to be at right now. You know what I mean? And I was kind of depressed, actually, no lie, I won't even lie. Didn't know where I was going to record, if I should continue recording anyway, you know what I mean? And then Umam was doing this whole, what's it called? 6x6 or whatever, 4x4, yeah. A launch of like different artist projects, like Sandra Williams, 07, Kelvin and his crew. I was there, I can't remember who else was there exactly. So he approached me and says, oh, okay, don't worry, get into the studio, give me a project and we see how we can push it, you know what I mean? So at that point, because I'm someone who just writes what's going on in my life, so that 25 was like a turning point for me to say, am I just doing this for the hip-hop world, to be famous as a rapper here, or is this actually who I am, you know what I mean? So, and is this something that I really want to take and move forward, get it produced nicely, get it distributed nicely? So that was that turning point for me, basically. That's why every song in there was like my last call, you know what I mean? Was my last expression, my last punch in this music thing. So, and it turned out to be a pretty good album. A lot of people really love that album.
Yeah. What do people say about that album?
People, yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying. It was my most open, my most emotional, my most musical. Because at first I was just keeping it hip hop, but around 25, there's even a song that's like Afrobeats. There's a dancehall song, you know what I mean? I was really just trying to grow beyond the box, because I'm someone who can't be boxed in. I always look outside and say, what can I grow to? What can I advance to? Yeah, basically.
Speaking about your life, how much was your father an influence in your life? How important is he in your life?
Very important, because since I was like in high school, since I was in even Sunday school, he always would tell me, you are born to be a leader, you're going to be a God has put influence on you, you know what I mean? So those type of things will always ring in your mind and will even shape you to become the person who you are today, you know what I mean? Where I know, okay, I can start a movement called Bird Boys and people will follow me. You know, I can start a movement called this. I can go online and say, I'm starting an Asaph challenge. Everyone do like this in a picture. You know what I mean? And people will do it. And in my mind, I now don't attribute it to me, because my dad would always put in my mentor to say, no, God has given you a gift. You know what I mean? So no, it's not just me. It's God who's using me to do all this. That's even why I changed my name from Quanfire to Asaph. Because Asaph means the one who gathers, or Jehovah is gathered. So I'm saying that God is using me to gather the youth of Bulawayo, the youth of Zimbabwe, the youth of Southern Africa, the youth of Africa, one day the youth of the world, you know what I mean? And once we're all together in one mind, even when the whole Tower of Babel was happening, God said, yo, the people are in unity, and when people are united, whatever they set their minds to, they can achieve it, you know what I mean? So that's basically my mission. Music is not the end goal. I'm using this as a spotlight, so that people say, oh, I look up to Asaph, I admire Asaph. Then one day I can wake up and say, okay guys, let's all register to vote. You know what I mean? And all the gangsters from way up to where will register. You know what I mean? And now that's how we can rebuild our communities. That's how we can better our society. When at least we have people, not that I want to be, I feel like I'm perfect, or I feel like, you know what I mean? It's not me. It's God who's just using me as a vessel so that we can make things happen. Basically.
And when we talk about hip hop, obviously there are beefs and all that.
Yeah.
I think one that was very much documented was your beef, if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Between you and Kelvin. What I understood about hip hop beef is mostly for the people.
Yeah.
It's for TV.
Yeah.
But once in a while, you guys are just friends.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
you might be video again.
Yeah.
Make sure
Yeah.
that those guys
Our
have
friends.
a cup of tea afterwards.
Yeah.
Beer.
Yeah.
So what was that beef all about?
There was a time where it was a real beef. It wasn't something that we did just for cameras, because he produced some of my bigger songs. He was the one who produced Obvious for me. I got the beat, went and recorded by him. That's Why Won't You Act Like You Know. He's the one who recorded that. Kingsville 1, Kingsville 2. He's the one who recorded all of those albums. I really feel like it was a thing where, because at that time he was at the top of the game in Bulawayo. He was getting to the top of the game in Zimbabwe with the Casper on Your Vest feature and everything. But as time went and my light began to shine a bit bigger, that's where it was now like, okay, when your little brother is now strong enough to, you know what I mean, to arm wrestle you, you know what I mean? So, and worse with now pressure from other people, because everyone is in my ear saying stuff, everyone is in his ear saying stuff, you know what I mean? Eventually, paths will clash, and hip-hop is a genre of egos at the end of the day. So sometimes it might take things the wrong way. A line in a song, I'm gonna think, oh, he's talking about me. A line in his song, you know what I mean? He's gonna think, he's talking about me. So that's basically where it got to. Then, because I remember after I lost, I had put out this song called Obvious, right? And it didn't win at the Sky Metro Music Awards. I was so hurt by that, because I felt like that was a song that everyone loved. Everyone was singing it, you know what I mean? So I did a freestyle, I was talking about that. And there's a line that he heard where he felt like I was targeting him. I said, Obvious, got me love from Ekasi, but it's funny, probably never win awards, I'm Tafaja and not Tavani. Okay. You know what I mean? So he was like, yo, this guy's talking about me. So he released a diss track for me. You know what I mean? So and I remember I was going to Harare at that time. Yo, and everyone was like, yo, Asaph, you're done, you're dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then after that, that's when I released Mambo. And that just, in my opinion, that just finished the whole situation according to that beef. But me and him, whenever we'd meet, we'd know what was going on. So we'll say, but my guy, don't do that. You know what I mean? And he would say, don't listen to those Harare people, they're confusing you. You know what I mean? And I would say, I know you must relax. Well, you know what I mean? We wouldn't resort to blows. Because that's my brother, bro. You know, how many albums or times have I been in his house? You know what I mean? How many times have we been out together? So it was just a misunderstanding that turned into, it was a serious thing, you know, but it was a misunderstanding. It just needed us to sit down and discuss and find a way forward. Because even like the last days leading up to like the end of his life, even had an interview with Kaya on Skies, where he was really ironing out everything about his career. He even spoke about what I'm saying now, to say it was just a misunderstanding. People in his ear, people in my ear, sending us on different paths. But at the end of the day, we were brothers, you know what I mean? But as family, we always fight with family sometimes, and you find your way back at the end of the day. But it was real for some people, because I remember attending his funeral, there was another guy who really wanted to beat me up there and said, you're not welcome here. You know what I mean? Because of the beef. Say, why are you here? You know what I mean? Where's like, why are you here? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? At the funeral, bro. Imagine, while you're trying to, it's crazy. So it was real, but it was just a misunderstanding between brothers. Yeah.
And how do you think both of those six obviously came from? The other, what we call OGs, laid the foundation. Maybe they didn't have that much of the hype that the new generation is having. But how much foundation did they lay?
They laid a lot, bro. No lie. I mean, it's always a stepping stone that can take you somewhere high. I remember the first show I ever did where I got paid. Po is the one who invited me to the show. He was performing at the art gallery. So he says, before I go on you and Kanyas, you do your songs. You know what I mean? After that, he gave us little monies. You know what I mean? But we were like, yo, we just got paid to perform. You know what I mean? Orthodox. And that even goes back to when I was like, I think 8 or something. I was in one of his music videos. What? Orthodox, Akawoma. You know, if you look at the start of that video, you see a young kid with bandanas on his head and his arms going 6. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So that was me. So just being around them, seeing like all the guys doing it, is what kept me going. You know what I mean? I'm sure if there was no one, I probably would have just sat down and thought, this is impossible. There's no one else doing it. You know what I mean? Because you can't really see yourself in an American. even though they are black, yeah, but if you see someone from your own city doing it at a level that is admirable, you'll say, yo, I can do it too, you know what I mean? So they did lay a foundation where we can finally pick up this thing and build off. Because now, when he stops making music, he's gonna leave a community of people who still want hip-hop, because he was making it.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna find me. Now they're like, okay, cool, now we're friends of Asaph. And the story just keeps going, the baton just keeps getting passed back and back.
Okay. We're talking about the music industry in Zimbabwe now. Obviously, we've heard people talking about it and crying about it.
Yeah.
That it's not paying.
Yeah.
And then some people, as you spoke, you said you were depressed.
Yeah.
Or some
Yeah.
sort.
Yeah.
How easy is it
Yeah.
for someone to fall into like drug abuse, and how
Yeah.
prevalent is drug abuse in the industry since you've been in it for so
Yeah,
long?
yeah. I mean, you know, the thing with society, right? Hip hop music reflects society. So before we even talk about hip hop, let's talk about society. You know what I mean? Why is it hard to be a hip hop artist? Because society is hard. Hip hop or music is not the only industry that is difficult. We can stop and ask the teachers, how are they doing? We can stop and ask the nurses, how are they doing? You know what I mean? We can stop and ask them Trova guys, how are you doing? Everyone is gonna say, yo, it's difficult. You know what I mean? And because I once saw this a page on YouTube called Noisy. They did this documentary about Bronco, the abuse of Bronco. You know what I mean? So it's prevalent, not just in hip hop, dancehall. School kids are dropping out because they're feeling there's no point in learning. What job are they gonna get after? You see what I'm saying? So it's really easy for someone, especially without a good support system, without some bit of willpower. You know what I mean? To just push and see another day. You see what I'm saying? So it's really easy like that just to fall into drug abuse, whether it's weed, whether it's a Bronco, whether it's alcohol, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a society issue, you know what I mean? Because there are no jobs. If you go at Asipra, you see lots of people just sitting, doing nothing. So are you gonna sit, do nothing and let your mind wander about how useless you are? Or rather be high and laugh and smile, you know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
And then also what we call the dollies.
Yeah.
How are the dollies?
The dollies. Nah, it's cool. You know, that also comes with like what it looks like, the level you rise to, because people like clouds, people like attention, you know what I mean? And girls like it as well. So obviously if they see someone who is being revered and admired by the whole city, the whole country, they'll obviously gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
Whether it's genuine love or she's also hoping somehow some of that attention can come her way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just about now being smart, navigating it the best way you know how to. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's talk about Def Jam.
Yeah.
What's happening? What is maybe the general deal with Def Jam between Def Jam and Asaph? What's Asaph supposed to do for Def Jam?
I'm supposed to make the music, man, and they're supposed to take it. Be the machine behind me to push it to the world. Because I feel like I've always been an international quality artist, but if you take a light and put it under the bed, you won't light up your house. You have to put it on the highest point so that that light can really shine. So I feel like Def Jam is that for me, you know what I mean? They've got me in studios, they've got me like a list to say, yo, we want you a collaboration with this guy. What do you think? Who do you want to collaborate with? They are able to make those things possible. They are able to make different brand collaborations possible. You know what I mean? It's not just up to me. Maybe if I have a wish list and I say, okay, this is what I'm hoping for, and what is possible. What can we do? We merge that together and we see what can come out. You know what I mean? Because they're trusting in me. I'm the first Zimbabwean artist in Zimbabwe that they've signed. So they saw something, you know what I mean? So I do have a voice to share and say, yo, let's try this, let's try that, and we see how we make it work. It's basically a meeting of two brands to try and present a product that is globally acceptable.
How long is the deal?
I really can't talk about that right now, but at least it's a project deal. It's a project deal, by the project.
Your wish list?
My wish list?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
My wish list, because I have a steady flow going up. I've already got Loki.
Yes.
There's a kid called, let me not kid, because he's fire.
Yeah.
His name is Touchline.
Okay.
He's super talented and he's really on the rise in SA. So those, when it comes to like my peers, it's him, it's Loki, Touchline, Lucas Raps, Blackie. Blackie's also on a nice wave. Then I would probably move to Chejo, Casper Nyovest, Nadia, aka I would have really loved to work with Ricky, rest of soul, you know what I mean? Burna Boy, Tiwa Savage, you know what I mean? Even if you go to America itself, give me Drake. You see what I'm saying? Give me Kendrick, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really someone who's gonna take it as high as I can go. Because sometimes when you're at the bottom of a mountain, you can't see what's behind the mountain. Only until you're on top of that mountain. So probably I can get a Blackie feature, right? And that's my mountain. Then that was all I wanted. Then I get on that mountain. I'm saying, oh, I can actually feature Nyovest.
Yeah.
I get on that mountain. Ah, I can now feature Burna Boy. I get on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a story that's building. One thing about me, because it's not that. Yes, it's a first official signing, but it's not the first time I've been with people who are promising me things. And even though they failed to deliver, I kept my story going. You see what? I took what I learned and kept my story going. So that's what I'm excited about the most. So to say, if I can reach this height, I wonder what the next chapter, once this Def Jam chapter is closed, I wonder what's coming next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just how I'm taking it.
How discouraging is it for someone to promise you the heaven and earth?
That's discouraging.
You sign off whatever, what masters and all that, then nothing is delivered.
It's very discouraging, but I used to say this because even when it came to ideas, concepts and stuff, people used to tell me, no, don't share your ideas for events with people. Don't share your idea for ads with Soul because they're just going to steal your idea and use it as theirs. And I'm like, bruh, there's many ideas here. There's many concepts. There's many songs here. You know what I mean? I'm not Spence. I'm not 60 years old. You know what I mean? It's discouraging, but I know I'll write a better song tomorrow. I always tell people, they ask me, what is your favorite song that you've written? I said, my favorite song is the one I haven't written yet. That's the one that I'm waiting to write, to see what the heck I can come up with. You know what I mean? So that's just how I take it. We keep moving, keep pushing.
You are from the musical family.
Yeah.
Your sister.
Yeah.
How much is she a support to you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Your life.
Hundreds.
How is she a support to you?
She's a real good support, man. Always comes when I need a vocal, a chorus. She always comes through with it. Even she's someone who can tell when I'm okay or when I'm down or when I'm what, you know what I mean? So she'll always be there just to say, are you okay? Titi, are you okay? Do you need anything? Whoa. You know what I mean? Let's go there, let's go. Yeah, so yeah, she's a strong support, no lie. Strong support. Yeah, they've always believed. Not always, you know, not always. I had to win a few awards for them to really believe. But now they really want me to keep on moving. You know, you get to a point where even your parents will realize, we know we wanted you to do this, but this is your thing. This is what you're made to do. Keep on going at it. You know what I mean?
What did they want you to do?
Anything productive. You know what I mean? Anything productive, bro. Probably there was a time they want me to be a pastor. You know what I mean? Because me, ever since high school, I was into music. So it's not like I gravitated towards any specific academic thing. You know what I mean? Where I would tell, oh, I want to be a lawyer. I wanted to do music ever since. And that's just how life is. Unfortunately, Zim is like this, the way it is. Our education system is the way it is. But we should really train kids and look at them and say, what is this child good at? And make sure we maximize. And instead of taking them to school and teaching them irrelevant things, you know what I mean? Nurture that thing that is theirs. And you're going to see superstars. Superstars in academics, superstars in the medical field, superstars in sports, whatever facet, you know what I mean? Because everyone has that thing. But now, because we all want to live, now my passion is maybe tennis. I'm going to go study law in roads, waste all those years, you know what I mean? That's just how I feel.
Okay. So, towards the end of my interviews, I always ask the guest to ask me a question.
Yeah.
Maybe something that you want to know from me, industry, whatever.
Yeah.
Might give you.
Yeah. Okay, here's my question. As a journalist, you've really written stories. And I know like we can determine our future by learning from the past. So from the stories you've been writing about hip hop and your interaction or your view, what do you think is needed for 2022 for us to really make hip hop in Bulawayo something?
What's,
Yes,
Okay.
or just from, even if it's,
Yeah.
yeah, just from your perspective.
From my perspective, I think hip hop needs um, an industry type of structure.
Mhm.
It's a lot of pockets that are happening.
Disjointed pocket.
Disjointed pockets. Let's have an industry type of thing that, okay, we've got 10 studios in Blawa.
Yeah,
We've got each studio has got maybe 4 or 5 artists.
yeah,
And let us release, each studio releases one artist.
yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
So that the focus becomes
On
hip-hop
them, yeah,
on
yeah,
that day.
yeah,
Then we have shows.
yeah.
Not that I do a show, you do a show.
And it's all disjointed.
It's disjointed. Let's all have a show.
Mm-hmm.
The 10 of us
Yeah.
put in money,
Yeah.
do the show, bring in people, they watch the show and they enjoy.
So basically a more united
More
hip hop
united,
community.
But you cannot have more united without an industry type of thing. That's why I was saying whatever you learn at Def Jam,
I should bring it
bring
here.
it this side
Yeah.
because there's always something linear
Yeah.
about your music.
Yeah.
Get signed, do the music, they push.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got a music studio, I sign an artist where he does the music or she does the music. Where is that music
Going to
How
next.
is it going?
Yeah, yeah.
I think the problem here is just a simple
Conveyor belt
situation or what you call a distribution
Yeah.
problem. We
Yeah.
got a distribution problem.
Yeah.
How do we get the music to the people?
Yeah, yeah.
We can put it on Sky's Metro, Columbani, CFM, Star FM, and what. But how do people, the guy who doesn't listen?
Because that's just the tip of the iceberg. How do we really?
How do you
Yeah,
really get to that? I think that's the only way.
Makes
That's the
sense.
only way. So just try and solve the distribution problem.
And we have solved a huge thing. Yeah,
Huge thing.
I feel it.
So thanks very much for
Thanks,
your time,
man, for having me. Thanks, man, for having me.
That was it. That was an interview with Asaph at the top of Pioneer House. We'd like to thank the guys from this building for giving us the opportunity to record our weekly podcast. Catch us next week. Click and like Chronicles Zim TV and all our social media. It's been Bongani Njovu. I'm signing out.